So you've got hedgehogs in your garden, or you want hedgehogs in your garden, and you want somewhere for them, so you want to build yourself a hedgehog house. That's Hogwarts, by the way. Your hedgehog house can have two uses. You can use it as a feeding station or accommodation. It can't be both at the same time. You should never really feed hedgehogs close to where they're actually nesting. I don't know whether that's the correct word, but where they're sleeping or having their young. The food should be completely separate. You could obviously feed them during the summer and then change your feeding station into somewhere for them to hibernate. So, furlough, things to do, looking for projects. I decided I wanted to make some hedgehog houses, and I wanted to make the best use of the materials that I was going to use, have as little wastage as possible. So I wanted to design a hedgehog house, and I was going to use sheets of 8x4 timber, only two of them. I was going to buy a sheet of 18mm marine ply and a sheet of 18mm OSB. Now I asked the place where I was buying it from to cut the marine ply for me into 4 1 foot deep strips, so 8 foot by 1 foot straight cuts, and to cut the OSB into 8 squares, so 2 foot by 2 foot. They were happy to do that. They didn't charge me anything. Went away, picked the stuff up in the car, and I set about my design. Now my design, I wanted to use, well, to have minimal wastage. So I came up, can't really see this, but don't worry, I shall put some clearer pictures on and some sizing. I came up with a design, the idea being that you cut the 8 foot strip into 6 pieces and there would be no wastage whatsoever. There's 2 doorways, one here and there's one inside, and I didn't even want to waste the bits that I cut out, so I painted them and turned them into windows on the front just for design. The entrances have to be small enough just for hedgehogs. You don't want predators getting in, so I bit of research and I made mine 115mm wide and 115mm high. The floor and the roof were made out of the OSB, the 2 foot squares. They were cut to fit. I mean, the floor exactly, the roof oversized, and then I used felt, shed felt, bought off eBay, ridiculously cheap. People commercially sell off-cut lengths, so I bought some 2 metre square lengths, so 2 metre by 1 metre. I think I paid £6 delivered, which was just a bargain compared to going and buying a 10 metre roll and then only using a small amount of it. Some of the offcuts of the OSB I used to make feet. Obviously you have to sit the thing off the ground, you don't want the floor getting damp, you don't want the cold coming through. That was it. Inside, feeding bowls. I went for kitten feeding bowls, ceramic ones. They're shallow, they're heavy, hogs won't knock them over, easy to clean. Feeding kitten biscuits, meaty dog food or cat food. People will suggest peanuts and mealworms, that they're a no-no. Peanuts are a choking hazard, and mealworms cause decalcification of the bones in the hedgehog, which lead to some horrible outcomes of broken legs and all sorts. You can buy, and I'm going to hope I pronounce this right, something called calciworms or calciworms, which is an extremely high calcium content worm. It's bigger than a mealworm, same sort of price. They love them. It's been described as the crack cocaine of the hedgehog food, and they're fine. So, as I say, I'll now post up the design and the sizes, and we'll cut through to a quick show you round the hedgehog house. So my first hedgehog house is complete. The others just need the felt on the roof. So this isn't where it's going to go, but here he is. Made a little access ramp, felted roof, ground clearance, and there we go. Oh, there you go. There's the doorway from the tunnel, 115 mil wide and high. So, finished. Had to use the cutouts from the doors for something. Right, now you've seen around the hedgehog house, I'm going to show you another video. So let's go straight into it and let's watch this. Right, so now you see the problem. So we needed a modification, a slight redesign. Luckily we had some OSB boards still left over. So pieces were cut and I managed to make the modification without having to take anything apart. And what I did was I created, instead of the large entranceway, a tunnel. So it was 115 mil high all the way down, which basically meant it was hedgehog height, and hopefully the cat would crawl along and really struggle to get all the way down that tunnel and round the turn. And it had the added bonus of creating somewhere to store your hedgehog food that was safe, dry, and no one was going to get at it. So let's have a look at the result. So the problem is that the doors might only be small, but as soon as the cat gets through the door, it's got all this lovely big space to get to the next door and then do its turn. Solution quite simple. A shelf. Placed in, fitted, just above door height to turn it into a tunnel. Come with me and I shall show you the finished article. So Hogwarts version 2. As you can see, we now have a tunnel. And here's the good bit. It's a little dry storage area. How clever is that? Right, you can see that there's still a slight problem. So the feeding stations, I made 4. The wood, by the way, the 2 sheets of wood was enough to make 4 hedgehog houses. So I've modified the 2 feeding stations with one more modification, once again using offcuts from the OSB, this time just glued into place using a wood glue. And I can hand on heart say that this has cured the cat problem. They cannot get in at all anymore. So the final solution, let's have a look inside. Oh, we have it. There's the inside doorway, and so this final solution just glued into place basically means that the cat, even if it goes down the tunnel, can't make the turn, so the inside is completely cat proof, but the hedgehogs can get in. There's the cat biscuits, kitten biscuits I should say. So yes, it all works. So hedgehog houses into the garden, placed where they were going to go. Obviously I've brought this one back out. I've got 2 hibernation stroke sleeping boxes and 2 feeding stations. The hibernation stroke feeding boxes are placed pretty much under hedges with the entrance facing into the hedges. I've filled them, well, part filled them with meadow hay and left some hay under the hedge outside for them to take in themselves. I'm not going to disturb them. We'll probably take a look in a month's time just to see if anything has been moved. One thing you can do is you can get yourself a piece of straw or something and diagonally lie it in the tunnel. so you can see if anything's been down there by the fact has it been moved or not. So we'll cut now to one of my success videos. So you take a quick peek at this, and then we'll speak slightly further at the end. So as you can see, it was 48 hours that they've been in the garden, and the hogs have moved in. Surprisingly, they spend up to 45 minutes at a time inside feeding. I don't know whether it's the fact that they feed slowly because they feel safe or whatever. I make sure that there's always water outside, because if you're feeding them kitten biscuits or something like that, it's obviously quite dry food. So I always make sure there's lots of water outside. There's at least 3 or 4 water bowls in my garden. They use all of them. They drink for a surprisingly long time. More modifications to come. I'm going to fit IP cameras into the insides of the feeding stations. I'm also, one of my next projects is building some nest box with some IP cameras in. They're going to be what's called PoE, Power over Ethernet cameras. So there will be just one cable running to the box, which is an Ethernet cable. It's quite cheap. That takes the power and brings back all the pictures. Plugs anywhere into my network. It can be viewed either straight onto a computer. Most smart TVs would straight view it. You can stream it if you want. You can record it. I just think it's the modern technology way to go, and probably the most versatile method. And if you hunt around, it doesn't have to be that expensive. Anyway, costs. What did Hogwarts cost? Probably at the end of the day, as I say, I built 4 of them. We're probably looking at about £30–35 each. There was a few bits lying around. They've got 2 hinges at the back. Numerous. I used a whole box of screws on all 4 of them. Didn't have to buy any special tools. So yes, tools that you're going to need for the job. Obviously, drill, screwdriver, almost essential these days. Saw, tape measure, and set square. You don't need a set square. I like to use it. I like to make sure the cuts are nice and square, but whether you know it or not, it's preaching to the converted. Saws have a set square built in, just across there, and there's a 45-degree one just across there. And that's it. Away you go. Let's modify your design slightly. Hope you've enjoyed my brief description and show you around Hogwarts, and hope you're going to make your own. Get some hedgehogs into your garden. In case you're interested, the videos that I took of the hedgehogs, you're going to want to get yourself one of these, a trail camera. Most hedgehogs come out at night. They normally come 15–20 minutes after the sunset, when it's just started to get dark, and they're pretty much around all of the night. Mine turn up at the moment 10:30, and they're in and out the garden until 4 o'clock in the morning. Trail cameras were designed for filming game, basically, things people wanted to hunt. So they work well in the British gardens, but they don't really want to focus on anything closer than about 4 or 5 feet. So you'll notice that my videos are a lot closer. Very simple modification. Close-up lenses. So I've quite simply, I should just show you here, my close-up lenses sit over the front of the camera, and they're held on with elastic bands. The lenses come in packs of 4 different strengths. They're cheap, £10–15. Easy to make an adapter to hold them across the front. You actually use something called black tack to stick them on, and you can get the focus distance, if you use the strongest, right down to about 4 inches. Those videos that you've seen were filmed at 10 inches and 21 inches, I think, using the +4 and the +2 lenses. Great fun. You'll love trail cameras. I hope you've enjoyed my video on showing you how to make a hedgehog house and to get hedgehogs into your garden, and I wish you the best of luck. I'm going to make another video. Last year my project was to make an outside pond, a wildlife pond. Didn't really have the space to dig one, so I've made an above ground wildlife pond. It's just coming up to a year old, and I'll put a quick link for the video at the end. I think you'll enjoy that one as well. Thank you very much for watching. Bye now.